What up, everybody? It's Jason, Zombie Collector, and it is 10:08 in the PM. And I had some downtime, so I thought maybe I'd go live, um, show off some movies, talk movies, talk maybe some wrestling. I don't know. I was gonna do some movies, talk some, just some free flow, free fly flow. So I picked up some movies at the local pawn shop today. So I thought maybe I'll show them off. I'll probably do a proper video as well, but I just kind of thought I'd get out here and just chit chat, nothing special. I wasn't planning on doing a live stream today, but my kiddo, excuse me, was invited to go to a friend's house for a sleepover. So now I have all this time tonight to hang out and just chit chat and see what's popping with the interwebs. So I just thought I'd go on, like I said, and just chit chat. So, anyways, nothing big here. Not for sure there's gonna be much of a turnout, but for me, just having fun, have something to do. And with that being said, I'm gonna show off the first movie. Now I don't see this movie in the wild too often. This is actually one of the first times I've seen it in the wild. I think it used to be out of print. There may be a Blu-ray of it now. So I'm not for sure much about where we're at with this movie, but it's probably one of my favorite live action Disney movies from the 90s. I believe this came out in the 90s. Let me look here. Let's take a look what year this came out. Does it say? Does it say? No, but I'm gonna say it's like 94, 95. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that it is Cool Runnings with none other than John Candy. Boom. There you go, Cool Runnings. One of the best live action Disney movies ever. You have Leon on here, who is famous for being in a Madonna movie. Doug E. Doug, which probably was like the breakout star of this movie. I think he wasn't he a rapper too, maybe? And then you have John Candy, of course. So super, super excited about picking this up in the wild. Like I said, I'd never seen it in the wild before, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I was like, Cool Runnings, a classic. It's still irking me that I can't find out what year this came out. I just really want to know. I really want to know, and I can't, so it's very frustrating. Oh well, it doesn't say. I'm gonna stick with 94, 95. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way so I can put it here. Next up on the list is I picked up. It was 1 and 2, or I'm sorry, 2 and 3. I picked up as this, but this is the first one. Family of Cops with Charles Bronson. Never heard of the series before. The special features include basically nothing. Let's see if there's anybody in here that's Leslie Ann Down. I recognize that name. And Daniel Baldwin. Well, look at that. So we have there you go. A family of cops. Yep. So we'll take us. It says, and the commander's wild and $60 Jackie, Leslie Ann Down. So there you go, family of cops. I really probably should watch these before I sell them all, just so I can say I've seen them. But it looks like it's a hot mess. I know Charles Bronson was essentially doing any movie that he was given towards the end. So a movie like this, just like a lot of the oh shoot. Oh no, I forgot his vigilante movie all of a sudden. I can't think of the name of it. What do you call that? I can't remember. He went Death Wish. There we go. I know the first one was actually pretty good, but then the second one, and then third and fourth and fifth. I'd never heard of this movie before, but it has a very interesting cast. So you have this came out in 1993, and it's Harvey Keitel called The Young Americans. Never heard of it. It says no honor, no respect, no remorse. So this came out in '93, which is around I believe a year after Reservoir Dogs came out. I think Reservoir Dogs was 1992. The cast here has some interesting characters in here. So you have who Thaddeus Newton, who went on to do lots of movies. Viggo Mortensen's in it. Oh my gosh, I guess that's Viggo right there. I didn't even recognize him. He looks so young. Trying to see if anybody else is in here, but Keith Allen, who's also a name I recognize. But it looks like a very interesting movie. I know it's kind of dark. It is a full screen, which I don't like. I'd never even heard of this movie, but in 1990s, it's kind of like an urban movie. You never know. It says they're hip, they're tough, and they're methodically annihilating the city's most powerful crime bosses. Ooh. So they're the young Americans, a new and deadly order of gangsters. No one ever uses the word involving gangsters as an order of gangsters. That sounds ridiculous. So we'll see. We'll see all about it. But Viggo Mortensen's in it. I'm assuming this is Viggo right here. It looks like him. It's the closest one. He's super young in this. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this looks. I'm definitely very interested to take a look at this. So we'll see. It's a full screen, which I absolutely loathe, but we'll take a look. Apparently, it may be also widescreen, it says. I don't know. It says full screen. But then it says, yeah, I don't know. I think it's full screen, which sucks. So there you go. Young Americans. The next one is a woman who has been canceled a few years ago. And, you know, I was a big fan of her TV show back in the day. And this was a Trick or Treats. These were all, like, I guess, a handful of Halloween episodes. And it is Roseanne, Tricks and Treats. So she was canceled a few years ago for jokes, which, you know, apparently you can't be a comedian anymore unless it's approved comedy. And if you say anything that is not approved, then they make you disappear. So there you go. But you have, if you look on the back here, there's a couple of good, you got Silence of the Lambs. You have some witches, some butchery, some headless people on plates or whatever. And I mean, as a kid growing up, the Roseanne TV show was a common program we would watch in the old Payne household. I'm not for sure all the people. I'm not for sure how many seasons we watched, but I mean, I remember watching the beginning of it, and I would probably say we watched the first 5 or 6 seasons at least as a family. So we gather around the old boob tube and watch it. And let's see, who are some of the people? We had Ed McMahon as the guest, one of the guest stars in here. Jim J. Bullock, Ariana Huffington, Marlo Thomas, Estelle Parsons, and even George Clooney. George Clooney's in here. So there's some episodes included from season 2 through 9. So that's cool. I'm really excited about this, honestly, because I'm a big fan of Roseanne. Ooh, that rhymed and I didn't even mean for it to rhyme. But yeah, I liked Roseanne as a kid growing up. I liked her now. I definitely like her more than ever because she's not afraid to speak her mind. And that's in a short supply nowadays. Definitely short supply. And then I hit the mother load when it came to wrestling DVDs. I couldn't believe I found all these wrestling DVDs there. And they're box sets. And this pawn shop I go to is in the next town over. And they have a Blu-rays for $2, DVDs for $1, and then like box sets, which basically means TV shows, for I think they said $5. So it doesn't matter if it's a 2-disc set or a 10-disc set. I guess it's $5. So I'll always look over there because you just never know what you might find. And you know it's a pawn shop, so they don't care about the quality of the DVDs or the Blu-rays. I guess they just take them sight unseen, and then they just give them like 50 cents per disc or a quarter or whatever. Because they're selling them for so cheap, you can't really make any money off. If you're going in there to sell DVDs or Blu-rays, you're losing money for sure. But you know, people who have addiction problems, they don't care. Like every dollar helps or quarter helps, I guess. So I'm sure that a lot of that has to do with it, because some of the stuff you find is like really nice stuff, but they're not getting anything for it. So it is what it is. So anyways, so I went over and looked at the box sets, and they didn't have any wrestling. And in the past, they usually have some stuff over there. So they actually do a pretty good job, where they're one of the few pawn shops that actually try to organize, even alphabetically organize their DVDs and stuff. So, which is nice, because most places, like, they just shove it in the holes. And so I go over there and I always look at the W's, and for wrestling, and they had a whole huge section of wrestling DVDs. They actually had six different wrestling box sets, DVDs, or whatever. So I was holding them, and I said, I'm going to go to the front and just ask, like, hey, I don't want to take these up here. Then they're like, oh, that's $5 a piece, because I ain't spending $30 or whatever it is. And so I said, I'm going to ask. And they were like, they asked somebody else, and they were like, oh, no, we'll do $1 a piece. I was like, all right, well, then I'll be your Huckleberry. So I got each one of these box sets for $1. And like I said, I'll probably do a live. I'm going to do an actual video, but I just will show this off here and kind of talk a little bit about it, because I don't know much. So the first one up was this WrestleMania 24, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm reading my Roman numerical numbers correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is 24. So we have right here, we got Big Show with who is that with him? Lee Merriweather or something? Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd. So we have Finley versus JBL in a Belfast brawl. Money in the Bank ladder match. We got Jericho versus Shelton Benjamin. John Morrison versus Carlito versus CM Punk versus MVP versus Mr. Kennedy. Then we have Battle for Brand Supremacy with Umaga and Batista. Then we have the ECW Championship match with Chavo Guerrero versus Kane. Wow. Then we have a career-threatening match, and I think this is the one where Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, and it's like Ric Flair's like retirement match, like his like 18th time he's retiring, and then he retired 10 more times since then, where I believe he's like crying, and Shawn Michaels is crying, and then he gives him the old sweet chin music, and that's supposedly the end of it. They're all like crying together. Then we have a Playboy Bunny Mania Lumberjack match with Maria and Ashley versus Beth Phoenix and Melina. Then we have a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. We got Randy Orton, Triple H, and John Cena. The Biggest versus the Best, Big Show versus Floyd Money Mayweather. I believe that's an actual boxing match, if I'm not mistaken. And then the World Heavyweight Championship, Edge versus The Undertaker. And then that's the matches you have. And then, of course, there's the Hall of Fame ceremony. And at that time, Rocky Johnson, High Chief Peter Maivia, Mae Young, the Briscoe brothers, Gordon Soule, Eddie Graham, and the Nature Boy Ric Flair are all inducted to the Hall of Fame, it looks like. It's a 24-man battle royal for a shot at the ECW championship. So there you go. So it looks like it's I always like the battle royal. The good thing is, like I've said it before, and I'll say 100 times, like any of the stuff that's since like 2000-ish till now, I don't know hardly any of that wrestling. So it's cool. So this is all going to be like brand new. Like I'm watching it for the very first time. So I have nothing I know about this kind of stuff. So all the matches are going to be fresh and so clean. So I'm excited about it, see what it turns into. Obviously, I kind of know some of the outcomes because people reference, WrestleMania obviously quite frequently. So anyways, we'll take a look. But, for $1 for the box set, I'll take it all day long. Like I said, I don't know. It might be pretty good stuff. So, but, the thing is like, it's funny because I'll go back and watch these a lot, but I'm not really into the product even now, even though a lot of these guys are wrestling right now today. I don't watch a lot of the product unless it's just like I catch it on basically on accident. All right, so the next up is this is 2006. So So the next one is 2016 WrestleMania. So whatever WrestleMania that is, it doesn't even say a number on here. It says WrestleMania 2016. So there you go. So this was a little bit jumbled up, so I'm gonna try to read it. So you have the Authority and Roman Empire clash. You have a 14-time Triple H versus, I guess, Roman Reigns. Shane McMahon fights the Undertaker, if I'm not mistaken, in Hell in a Cell. Charlotte and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch compete against each other in a triple threat match. Dean Ambrose takes on, I think, Brock Lesnar. That's going to be a loss match. You already know. There's a no holds barred street fight. Then let's see, they have WrestleMania kicks off show matches. WWE United States Championship Kalisto versus Ryback. Total Divas versus BAD and Blonde. I don't even know what that is. The Usos versus the Dudley Boys. Wow, the Dudley Boys are still there. Okay. And then the Hall of Fame. This is what I'm pretty excited about. It. Godfather, who also was Papa Shango. Who's going to be? He inducted Jacqueline, Stan Hansen, the Fabulous Freebird, the Big Boss Man, Snoop Dogg's there, Joan London, wow, and Sting. So that's a list for you. So I'm pretty excited about that. You know, I don't think I've ever seen Dean Ambrose ever wrestle in WWE. I didn't know who he was. I was never really impressed when I watched, like I said, a lot of modern day product. So I missed out, but apparently The Rock's in here as well. It shows The Rock on the back. So I guess we'll take a look at it. That's 2016. And then the last one for the box sets is 2017 WrestleMania. It looks like they're outside in the beach area. It looks like it's fun in the sun. And let's take a look here at some of the matches. You're going to have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. I'm sure that's going to be Goldberg getting crushed. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. I do. What up? What up, Larry? Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. And a fatal four-way. Let's see. Bayley defends against Charlotte Flair. Sasha Banks and Nia Jax. Seth Rollins takes on Triple H. Roman Reigns faces The Undertaker. And I guess the New Day has a match or something too. And then let's see here. Kurt Angle, Teddy Long, Beth Phoenix, DDP, Ravish and Rick Rude, the Rock and Roll Express, all apparently get into the Hall of Fame on this one. So like I watch these because a lot of times, honestly, I'm so interested in the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. I'm interested in who they have induct them. I'm interested to see like the little video packages. I'm interested to see what they have to say. Like to me, it's especially for $1, it is 100% worth me watching. Picking it up just to kind of see the ceremony of the Hall of Fame ceremony. I always think it's interesting because for me, that's what it's about. Like I don't really care a lot about the wrestling. A lot of these modern day stars. There's a couple people in here. Like of course, I want to see John Moxley, who was here, Dean Ambrose, and Chris Jericho, because they're AEW stars. So I like to see that. But the rest of the stuff, I'm kind of like, meh. And then I got 3 2020 or 1 2019. Let's see here. Single disc sets, which is really cool. TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2019. And I'm pretty pumped about this because you have Asuka and Io Shirai, who I'm a huge fan of them. They're 2 Japanese wrestlers right there. The Empress of Tomorrow. And then you have Bray Wyatt, which I like Bray Wyatt. I kind of like I like him as Bray Wyatt. I don't like him as The Fiend. I don't really care. I've never been a big fan of Corbin Burnson. King Corbin, whatever his last name is. Corbin Burnson, not the actor. And Roman Reigns, whatever. I like The Miz, actually, too, quite honestly. Just, him being a joke in wrestling because he came from, the MTV world. He was, on MTV, Real World or some kind of MTV TV show. And then he took that and turned into a wrestling career. And I think there's, he talks a lot about how he never got any respect and was, treated like garbage. because they're just like, this is some kind of, this guy doesn't take it serious. This is some kind of reality show, goofball. I mean, now he's been with the company almost 20 years. Can you believe that? He's been wrestling almost 20 years for WWE. Obviously, he's stayed around longer than a lot of people. So you got the big dog, Roman Reigns. They kind of dropped that finally. Now it's like the head of the table. That's his new thing. And King Corbin, the New Day versus the Revival. Bobby Lashley versus Rusev. Now, Rusev, that's cool because I'm a huge fan of Miro. So I'm definitely looking forward to that because I love me some Miro action. So Miro's in here. He went by Rusev, and his wife, Lana, in real life, that's CJ. And that's actually his real wife, Lana. So that's an interesting thing. And then the Almighty takes on that's just talking about the Bulgarian Brute. And then you have Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch going on versus the Kabuki Warriors, which is, again, Asuka and Io Shirai. And then we have Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. So it looks like this has lots of wrestlers that I'm more interested in. This came out in 2019, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Then I heard this is all like absolute like dumpster fire of a movie, but I'm gonna check it out anyways. And it's called Super Showdown, and so it's Bray. It's Undertaker's in here. You have Bray Wyatt, the Fiend's in here. Roman Reigns, Goldberg, King Corbin, Brock Lesnar, Ricochet, Naomi, Bayley. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. So it looks like you got old Goldberg spearing the Fiend, and like he's falling backwards, like he's getting like destroyed. But yeah, we'll take a look. I'm interested to see what it turns into. Oh, this actually has a Finn Balor card in here. Huh, interesting. I don't know if that came with that or not. I'll take it. And then the last one I got picked up for, like I said, all these were for $1, was the greatest wrestling match ever. So I'll be the judge of that. I don't need them telling me that. It is Backlash 2020. I've never been the biggest fan of Randy Orton or Edge, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of like, meh, But yeah, man. So yeah, Edge versus Randy Orton. I've heard that match actually is really good. So we'll take a look at it. Sasha Banks and Bayley versus the Iconics, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. We got Nia Jax and Asuka, Braun Strowman, and The Miz and John Morrison. So again, this looks like it has lots of promise. There's quite a few wrestlers on the back. I'm gonna be, like I said, Asuka's in there. I love John Morrison. I think he's great. The Iconics, big fan of theirs. They got released by WWE this last week. Who else is in here? I guess those Drew McIntyre. I'm like, I could be somewhat interested in that. So, anyways, there you go. The greatest match ever. So there's the pickups. I'll do a proper video, but I just want to kind of talk about that a bit and just kind of let people know what I picked up. But I mean, there are still good deals out there to be had for one schmeckle. So I got that whole stack of movies for $10, which is pretty good. So I'll just do a quick recap so you can see. So I got all these for $10. You really can't beat that at all. At least I don't think you can. I'm sticking to my story. But yeah, man, I thought I just picked that up. But I'm kind of, like I said, getting more and more into, getting DVDs and Blu-rays for the collection. As you see here, I'm kind of starting to work on some backgrounds. I think I'm gonna move everything back over to this. And a lot of you all who've been around the channel for a while, around this time last year, you know that when I kind of went away from sports cards, I went to film. This was kind of my backdrop. I kind of like being back here. So I'm gonna do it back. I'm gonna start, like, I have like some little stands. So I'm gonna start moving some DVDs around and putting different stuff up and mixing up a bit and just kind of change up the background a smidge. And of course, it's nighttime, so I only have one light I'm going to use. So it kind of sets the ambiance, if you will. And so we'll see how it goes. And like I said, I'm enjoying it. I actually got something off eBay today. I won a 3-season box set with all the bells and whistles. So hopefully I'll get that early next week. I picked up some wrestling cards on eBay that should be on its way from Canada. And I think I got some other stuff. I'm probably going to go, like I said, Luca, he's out with some friends tonight over at a friend's house. So I might actually go do some pawn shopping tomorrow morning. So we'll take a look there. And, I always like doing that when I can't go to the downtime. He likes to go with me, but, at the same time, he's at the age now that he would go with me because he's a good kid and hang out with me. But he'd be like, after about 10 minutes, he'd be like, are we ready? Are we ready to go, Dad? I'm like, not really, but I guess that means we're heading out. So it is what it is. I got a Nipsey Hussle CD for $1.99. Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle. Now that's a blast from the past. So, man, I wanted to like maybe just do an impromptu. Let me maybe do an impromptu movie review. What do you all think? Huh? I mean, we do an impromptu movie review. Let me see if I can reach back here and grab something. Let me see if I can grab something. Let's see. What do I want to grab over here? Oh, if I can grab without knocking stuff over. Yeah, let's talk about this one. Why not? $17. That's good, dude. That is good. Here is a movie that I absolutely love. And I know I've talked about this before, I'm sure at some point, but I like to talk about it every once in a while. And it is the extended cut of Mel Gibson, The Patriot. So sometimes if you're a movie fan like myself, here you go. You got the disc. I like to get the extended cuts, the director's cuts, the unrated editions, and sometimes it doesn't mean a whole lot. Like they might throw in a few extra minutes of a movie. They might add some extra story or some more like context. Sometimes when it comes to like action or horror movies, they'll add like more the gore or more blood or whatever because they were cut out to get their R rating or PG-13 rating. And so when they do like a unrated edition or maybe the extended or whatnot, they put all that stuff back in because they don't have to worry about the R rating anymore. Because they're trying to make as much money as they can. Because back in the olden days, unrated was not a death knell to not get money for the movie. Back in the 80s and obviously before, marking as unrated sometimes didn't hurt the movie as much as you would expect. I mean, nowadays it would be like a death knell. You would never want to release a movie as unrated. And a lot of rated R movies, somewhat be difficult. And I mean, now with movie theaters that are going, I don't even know if movie theaters are even going to be a thing, quite frankly. I know in my area, there's no more movie theaters in my area, I don't think. I have to like drive to Indianapolis or maybe like a small town, 30 minutes away or more to go if I want to go to a theater right now. So, I think movie theaters are becoming like the thing of the past, like some archaic. I remember back in the 1990s and the early 2000s, there was movie theaters. There was a place you go see the movies that were like on the screen. And I think it might be happening. So this right here is a really good movie. This is probably Heath Ledger's best movie. Don't let people tell you it's Batman. What is it? Batman Returns or The Dark Knight Returns, I guess, or whatever it's called. Which I absolutely hate that movie. Like everybody talks about that movie, I just hate it. But this is kind of the start of the Revolutionary War that begins everything. The Patriot right here. Mel Gibson. It's an absolute great movie. Love the movie. The brutality feels pretty real. The music's great. The landscapes are great. Oh my gosh, it just makes you feel. Makes you feel like it makes you feel. I don't know. Like, what's the best way? It makes you feel like, very patriotic. If you dare want to say that you want to just protect your family, and you don't want anybody encroaching onto you and your land or your property, or like trying to tell you how to live your life. And it's a lot about just trying to fight back against that. And then sometimes it comes to your door, and you got to do whatever you got to do to protect yourself or your family. So it's a very interesting movie. Um, they don't shy away from some of the gruesome things that happens, unfortunately in war. But I thought they did a really good job with this movie. And then again, like the Patriot, I mean, he's a father of like 5 kids, and his wife dies giving birth, I think, to the youngest one. So he's basically he's a single father raising 5 or 6 kids. He is or was a politician, a former war hero, and so anyways, it's a really good movie. I absolutely love the movie. You don't feel at all like it's taken forever. Like there's great acting by Jason Isaacs is in this movie. Also, you have Heath Ledger, like I talked about. You have Chris Cooper. You have Tom Wilkinson. There's a couple other people of note in here, but the extended edition, man, very, very good. I don't know if a lot of people know about, pay attention to that kind of stuff, but I love that kind of thing. Almost dropped. Almost. Another movie that doesn't get talked about a lot, I feel like, anymore. And I honestly don't know why people don't talk about it, to be honest with you. And that is Gangs of New York. This is probably, for my money, one of Daniel Day-Lewis's best work. I love him as the Butcher Bill, or Bill the Butcher. He's absolutely amazing in this movie. Leonardo DiCaprio is awesome. This is a Martin Scorsese film, kind of like a Italian gangster movie. I'm sorry, Irish gangster movie. And Cameron Diaz is like whatever. I don't really care about Cameron Diaz. She doesn't really do much for me in this movie. But it is a fantastic movie. You got Brendan Gleeson, John C. Reilly, Henry Thomas, Jim Broadbent. This is like an all-star cast. How have you never seen these movies, Larry? What is wrong with you? You need to stop selling them and watch them. And then you can sell them after you watch them. But it's an absolute, this movie is absolutely awesome. It shows you the creation of the 5 boroughs of New York and how they were created, again, from a movie perspective. But this kind of talks about how a lot of it was just formed by gangs and, people breaking off in their own groups, like the Irish and the Italians and the whatever. They just kind of like make New York their own. And it's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. Absolutely love it. There's some really intense scenes in here of some brutality, but overall, great movie. I'm telling you, dude, Leonardo DiCaprio is great in this. He's great in a handful of movies. He's good in, I like Leonardo DiCaprio, so I'm probably the wrong person. Some kind of a Leo Mark, and I don't want to be, but he's kind of like Johnny Depp. Like, Johnny Depp, in my mind, can't do a bad movie. I just can't help myself. I just like him as an actor. And I do know he has lesser quality movies, for sure. But overall, I feel like he's a great actor. But this movie is great. He's great in Django Unchained. He's great in The Revenant, Inception, Shutter Island, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, like I said, I like Leonardo DiCaprio. Catch Me If You Can. All those movies he's great in. So I have a hard time being a Leo hater whenever, Wolf of Wall Street, fantastic movie. Another really, really good movie. But yeah, I like DiCaprio. I know a lot of people don't, but I do enjoy his film. So he's definitely a one for me. That, him, and like I said, Johnny Depp, Nick Cage, because he's just like, Nick Cage is just so unhinged, especially nowadays. He's so unhinged. I enjoy his movies, and he just like loses touch with reality in his movies, and it's kind of like the same movie every time you see it. So there it is, dude. But so, anyways, there's that. So I think that's it. I didn't realize my camera is actually kind of low on the battery. I thought I charged it better, but apparently not. So then I'm gonna hop off of here. Man, I hope you all enjoyed this. had some downtime, and I thought I'd just do this for kicks and giggles. And I hope you enjoyed. So until next time, peace.